Welcome back to artofdino.com and saveearth.us, and this is a amazing one here today, and it may not be amazing for a lot of you, but it is for me. And it brings to question a lot of things about instincts when we're young, and intuition, and is it divine? Where does it come from? Because this image is pretty much me when I was young. And for those of you who don't know me, I hate Band-Aids. I despise them. I always have since I was a kid. And it turns out that was a very, very smart intuition of mine. And this started when I was super young, but cancer-causing forever chemicals found in Band-Aids, where they can get into wounds and into the bloodstream. Report warns pretty much all of the major ones, especially the Band-Aid one. And they have things like fluorine and other like things that are in jet fuel, and they put them in Band-Aids. And I have not technically known this forever, but ever since I was young, incredibly young, I have never liked Band-Aids. I maybe had one on my body for a total of about a minute. And that's about it my entire life. No matter how big the cut, no matter no matter what doctor told me to do it, I always refused. I hated them. I'm not sure exactly where it stems from, but I know my sister used to love them, and people in my family used to use them, but my sister used to love them. So maybe that's where I just somehow started to hate them from. But either way, never, even when I was young, when they'd give you the little prick at the doctor and your finger would bleed, I would just choose to hold it tight and put pressure on it and not put a Band-Aid on it. Never. I don't like stickers. I don't like any of those things. And ever since I was young, I knew, a deep part of me knew that they were bad for you, that they were disgusting, that there was nothing better for an open wound than air and maybe some water if it's cleaned. But I knew from the smell of these things, from the feel of them, from the vibe that I get from them, like they turn my stomach. It even actually turns my stomach looking at the images on the screen and typing it into the AI. Like for people that know me, they've always made fun of me my entire life. Everyone. I've had people pay jokes on me. I had a teacher once put Band-Aids all over my desk and then like all over my phone, and it just absolutely disgusting. It was been a joke to everyone, and they'd always be like, "Ha ha! Look, I've got Band-Aids on. Look, I've got Band-Aids on," and I'd be like, "Gross, nasty," and it almost makes me want to barf. And just to think of them. And it turned out that it was totally right. So where does this divine intuition come from? We learn a lot of things in life from observing people, but what about the things like this, where everyone around me was doing something different, and I was the only one that just absolutely always hated these things? Where does that intuition come from? And it wasn't like I liked them at one point and had a bad experience with them. I never liked them, ever. There's not a second of my life that I've ever been like, ooh, a Band-Aid. Have always been disgusted. And then the more drawings and stuff they put on them, the grosser they are. If people have Band-Aids, my girlfriend, my wife, everyone, I don't go near them. I can't even touch them. I can't look at them. And where does that come from? And my gut instinct. They always talk about the gut having the brain in a different brain, and it's examples like this that really prove that, because I felt it deep down there, but I had no clue what PFAs were, no clue about any of this stuff, no clue at that young age, at such a young age, that the entire world was out to get us and kill us at every single step of the way. I didn't know that then, but I do now. And I don't really always like the Daily Mail, but I'm glad they put this out, and I'm glad people researched it. Scientists finally did it, because again, vindication. I immediately sent an email to all my family saying Vindication with a link to the article, and I'll put the link below as well. But seriously, don't use Band-Aids. They're so gross, and they're so obviously gross, and I don't know who told me that or where that knowledge comes from, but now it's been proven. And again, just intuition. Always trust your gut. If something does not feel right, remember that you have another brain inside your stomach that they don't want you to know about, that has the best intuition out there, the best instincts. All of that stuff comes from there. And whether you feel right if or wrong, you go with that feeling, and you have to trust it, because you cannot trust the media, the news, or anyone. We are in a world of brainwashed people, and and besides the brainwashed people, the other people are just out to get you. They're out to profit from you. They're out to take you down. So we have to always be on the defense. So I like putting things out there whenever I find them. Don't use them. My other instinct was cell phones. I never use cell phones. I never carry them on my body. I never do all that stuff. So again, if you want to trust my instincts, feel free. Treat your cell phone like it's a toxic, disgusting thing, and only use it to call. Don't use it to dilly-dally and waste your life on. Trust me, again, it will backfire. All these things, there's been so many researches into cell phones and so many stories about how they stifle the research, or how the scientific studies never get shown. But in every single cell phone container and on the warning labels, it says don't touch them, don't keep them near your skin, don't do anything. But the younger generations have been taught to sleep with them, to keep them in their breast pockets, to put them in their pelvis pockets. Nasty. Again, trust your instinct, trust my instinct, but either way, go with your gut and beware of all the dangers that are out there, because there are so many and they're growing all the time, and you have to be on defense all the time. So bless you all. Just an afterthought as well. I saw an article when I was searching. I guess I didn't save it. It must be somewhere. And if I find it, I will post it in the community section. But it was about the Red Cross and wound coverage. And it was from the early 1900s. It was an article telling everybody not to if you get a wound, don't wash it with water. Don't use any cloth you have. Don't use anything that you have. And it was describing all these ways that the germs and the things come across and go everywhere. And then they said in conclusion, the only way to treat a wound was to use a properly sterilized Red Cross bandage, which I found very interesting because, again, when they force you to use something, you can usually tell it's not right. And then I found this article from 1917, don't throw away your clean white rags. Give them to the Red Cross to be used in making bandages. So they were taking used bandages, used cloths from people, no matter what they used before it, and they were turning them into bandages. And they were telling people that that was the only way to clean a wound. You had to use that. Otherwise, you'd get infected and things could get real nasty. What a sick world we live in. But it can and will be healed by all of us with no Band-Aids.